Okay, got the chunky pieces, so to speak, with the angle grinder, so I'm going to do the rest with the Shinto rasp. Okay, it's all done. I used the Shinto rasp and finished carving out the profile here, and it should be ready to sand. And I've got to mark out and drill the holes first, and then I'm going to sand it. Mark out and drill the holes for the heel. Truss rod cavity. Okay, at this point, the body and the neck have been cut out and drilled and shaped. And all of that could be accomplished in a low budge manner just using these tools here. Saw for cutting, knife for shaping, or you might use some sort of a rasp, and a drill for your holes, and a sanding block just to get everything nice and flat and straight at the end. And yeah, so not a whole lot of dollars there in the way of tools required. All the rest of it is, needs versus nice, as I like to say. So yeah, all you need is the saw, but the jigsaw or the table saw is nice because it's faster and easier, less work. All you need is like the draw knife, but the rasp or the Shinto rasp or the angle grinder with the flapping disc is nicer because, once again, it's faster and easier. And the planer versus using a saw or the knife or the rasp to bring it down close and then this to finish it up. Once again, it's all about just faster and easier. But these basic tools are all, pretty inexpensive, and they'll get the job done. So you don't got to spend a lot of money to do stuff. Okay, time to sand these, and this would be the low budget tool of preference, and this would be the time-saving tool of preference. I'm going to be going with this, and of course this. Very important, right? Before I sand it all away, I put a little divot right at the saddle line and the center line intersection point. So when we place the bridge, we'll know that's where the theoretical saddle line should be. Okay, everything's all sanded, 80 grit, made quick work of it all. It's nice and smooth, ready for stain. I still need to contour the heel here. with these narrow triangular heels, there's not a whole lot of contouring really to be done. Basically you just kind of slope the end and that's it. Slope the end and just round all the edges. So for this, if you were careful, you could do it with a regular saw. I'm going to be using a coping saw. Rasping it down is another option. Hammer and chisel, that kind of idea. Or the draw knife. You could draw knife that down probably perfectly flat. Not even need to sand or something. Maybe just once over on the edges. And there it is. Just hacked it off with the saw and then ran over it once with the sander. Okay, so the body's been shaped and drilled and sanded. I guess it's ready for staining. And likewise for the neck, ready for stain. Cool deal. Okay, so off to the paint shop. I'm probably not going to film much of the paint shop because it's mostly drying time. And I think for this one, I learned a new stain technique, and I think I want to give it a shot. It's the technique they use for the Raspberry Dragon's Breath PRS that was on Sweetwater for 13 grand. And this thing looked like a giant raspberry candy. It's an absolutely beautiful guitar. And you can probably still see the listing online. It's just wow. Yeah, I recently came across a video that shows a technique that yields those kind of results, or at least it's a similar. This technique doesn't use exactly the same strengths of dyes, because the Raspberry Dragon's Breath is it's raspberry colored. It's almost pink. It's a purple to pink burst, or purple to raspberry pink burst is what it is, more or less. But it's just wow. It's incredibly figured wood. But for this, I was thinking I might just try that technique and see what happens. This does have a bit of graining in both the body and the neck here, it looks, so might get something out of it. The downside is that this is kind of a yellowish kind of a wood, since it's spruce, and so it might not work so great with the colors. But on the other hand, yellow usually has more issues when you're using blues than when you're using reds and purples, so might be okay. I don't know if this is going to have enough graining in order to get the desired effect. It's really designed for use on flamed wood, so I guess I'll try it, see what happens. The basic technique is you hit it with dark blue or purple. You hit it with dark blue, and then you sand it back, and then you hit it again with red, and the red and the blue mix together, and it turns it anywhere from purple to like lavender, where it's been sanded back, and purple where it's still blue, kind of an idea. So I think I'll give that a try and see what happens. Okay, I hit it with some blue. The only blue I had left was some North Carolina blue, and I put in some black, which is actually indigo blue, in order to darken up a little bit, and I was able to get like a light to medium out of it. And this is the neck. It has not been sanded back, and this is the body, and it has been sanded back. And now I'm going to hit it with some red, and theoretically the blue stuff turns purple and the white stuff turns lavender or pink maybe, or something like that. Well, I think it sort of worked. Looks like I probably should have left more blue on it, but yeah, that stuff's turning purple, and that stuff's turning something a little bluer than pink. It's not very dark, but maybe I should hit it with more red. I don't know. Let that dry. I can always let this dry, hit it with another thing of blue and sand it back, and then hit it with some more red, kind of a thing. Time to sand the neck. Okay, left a fair amount more blue on this thing. I'll hit it with the red, see what happens. Well, it's a little bit more burgundy, but still kind of pink. Guess we'll wait and see. Okay, I hung them up over the kerosene heater, and it made quick work of drying these things. And this is what we've got. It's more or less the expected kind of result, but a little bit more blue in there might have been a good idea. Yeah, if you look at the side here, this overall has a bit more purple shade, like from here to here. Except maybe there, but yeah, it looks a bit more purple, but you still get like graining in it. Focus. How do I do this? That way? Oh, stupid camera. Yeah, you still get graining in it. But anyway, yeah, obvious graining there. Not bad for pine. This didn't really catch a lot of graining, really. Mostly just kind of fading. So, I don't know. Overall, I'd say it's a little pink, but it's still pretty cool. I mean, it's like, at first glimpse, you think it's kind of like pink. But yeah, it is really a kind of a raspberry pink, I guess you would say. But when you look at it close, I mean, it's every bit as purple as it is pink, so. I think it'll do. I think it'll do. Because all I can do is make it more purple and less pink. So it's going to end up looking, a lot of it has to do with the fact that this is already pretty shiny. See, I haven't done anything to this except just sand it and put the dye on it, and it's already shiny smooth. So that's also making it look lighter. Yeah, see, if you look down here, that looks kind of purple. That looks kind of purple. Yeah, let me get some of the less direct. There you go. Yeah, see, it's not that pink, unless you get the light directly on it, and then that highlights the pink a bit more. But I don't know. I think it'll do. It might do. This one definitely turned out a bit more purple. So still a kind of light purple, but I think it'll do. Time for a can of lacquer. Oh, also, yeah, price sheet. Okay. I just jumped online to see what Lowe's has on prices for this kind of stuff. You can get a 2-foot piece of pine for a 2-foot long piece of 2x4 for $1.87, and if you buy an 8-foot 2x4 and take a quarter of it in order to make a guitar out of, that quarter of that 2x4 or 2 foot's worth only costs 87 cents. and that's a spruce 2x4. The 8-foot one is. They don't specify the type of wood for the 2-footer. They also list Douglas fir 2x4s at a slightly higher price than spruce, 10 or 20 cents higher, something like that. And yeah, so you're talking like maybe $2 worth of wood, kind of an idea. A buck or two, depending on whether you buy it in bulk. So for clear coat, I'm going to be using Krylon Color Max Clear, Gloss Crystal Clear. It was like the cheapest clear coat on eBay in a rattle can. I'm tired of brushing. And you can probably find something a little less expensive, maybe even a real lacquer in a spray can at, like, you know, a Lowe's or Home Depot or something like that. Ace/True Value might be a little bit more expensive. They do carry Deft though brand, the Deft brand of lacquer, which is nice stuff. Definitely nice stuff. I think, you know, if I had my preference, I'd be using Deft, but I didn't see any listed online, so. Might be a good idea to tape off this board first though. What do you think? Okay, got it masked off. I laid it on the top and not on the sides really. I can like clear coat over the sides and then sand that back again, because there's no way to tape that off perfectly unless you're Chris over at Texas Toast with some pinstriping tape for automobiles. So this will be good enough. And if I get any, I've tried to like burnish it down as much as possible at the edges here so I don't get any seepage underneath. If I do, a little bit of lacquer thinner should clean that up. And then once I untape it, the plan is to sand the nut lightly on all the surfaces in order to clean it up because it's kind of dirty. Alright, time to squirt. Okay, this is after 3 coats clear coat. Got some very, very small, very, very fine orange peel. And yeah, I messed up a couple places and you got a little bit of run action. I think what this is clear acrylic paint. And so it's not terribly high build. It's like kind of a medium build at best, I'd say. And goes on a little bit on the thin side. And so I want to go a little thicker than this before I try to do something about these runs in the way of like sandpaper. Right now, I mean, it's like, right now I could like, well, I don't know, it's still a little thin to safely sand the runs out. If I didn't have runs, I could just like, shoot, I could almost polish it the way it is if I didn't want a glass smooth surface, which I don't necessarily need. Maybe what I'll do is sand out the runs and then if need be hit it with another coat. No, because I could cut through and hit the stain, so I should build more layers. Yeah, so this is 3. Let's see how the can's doing. That's probably half a can so far, I'd say, for 3 coats on both. I haven't done the bar yet, so that'll still be more. It might be 2 cans of lacquer for the clear coat, depending on how you do it. Now you see, you could also do this in oil. Actually, the least expensive would be to use a wipe-on poly. Really is what I should probably be doing, is using the wipe-on poly. Or technically it's brush-on poly, and what I do is I wipe it on with a piece of paper, or use a piece of paper as the brush. You dip it in, you fold it up into like a stiff sheet, and you dip it in the poly, spread it over, and then use it as a spreader to kind of spread the poly out in a thin film. And that's even less expensive than this. This is easier to apply, but more expensive. So yeah. Guess I'll put another coat on this or something. It's either that or sand now. No, I'm gonna build up until I'm sure I'm safe, and then I'll sand. Actually, maybe I'll end this episode here. It looks like clock's hitting about 20 minutes. Should I do long episodes or should I do short episodes? I mean, I could do, like an hour-long episode if that's what folks would prefer, or I can do like a 5-minute episodes if that's what folks would prefer. So if you have a preference, leave a comment, I guess. Yeah, I'm going to end this one here. So yeah, I'll put some more clear coat on and film again when there's something interesting. See y'all in the next one. Until then, everybody, have a good one.